Assalamu alaikum, ladies. Let's talk about why your children learn to tune you out. Why do they stop listening? Do you ever feel like you're stuck in this endless loop? You request something and your child just wouldn't listen. You say, "Come on, sweetheart. Okay, let's go. Come on, time to go now. I said, let's go. Okay, this is the last time I'm telling you." And yet, nothing. Ladies, I want to tell you a truth that may sting a little. You have accidentally trained your child to ignore you. But don't worry, today we are going to change that, insha'Allah. When you develop a pattern of repeating your requests, in their mind they're thinking, why should I get up now? She's only said it a few times. She'll say it a dozen more times before she actually means business. So let me keep playing a little bit more. To prevent this, we need to train our kids to understand that we will ask once, then remind once, and then take action immediately. And what's the action? It is the consequence. So once the consequence has been named, it must be followed through. Let's say Salah is 10 years old and you tell him, "You want to go shopping today, right? Be ready at the door by 5 o'clock so I can take you with me." Okay, agreement has been made. And for the consequence, you ask him, "Salah, what will happen if you are late?" He'll say, "You won't take me with you." Then you confirm. Exactly. Then when it's 4:45, you remind him once. "Salah, it's almost 5. I'll be waiting at the door. How much time do you have left?" He checks and he says, "I'm coming." However, if he chose to keep playing, then you must follow through with the consequence. At first you will hear crying, tantruming, protests. "Why? No, don't do that. You don't like me." All sorts of things. It will make you feel awful. And you'll think to yourself, he must have learned his lesson. I don't have to be so harsh. And if you give in at that point and say, "Okay, fine. Get dressed quickly, let's go," you may have avoided the meltdown and the whining in the moment. And you may have felt good about yourself as well when your child was super happy with you and hugging you and saying you were the best mom in the world. However, it will harm your relationship in the long run. Because let's be real, no mother can repeat the same instruction 20, 30 times and still stay calm. That leads to anger, explosions, resentment. That could all have been prevented if only you stuck to your words. Remember, we teach people whether to take us seriously or not. We teach people whether our words have value or not. What we say matters or not. And for the consequence to be fair and teach an appropriate lesson, there needs to be a prior understanding on the part of the child on what the consequence would be. So then if he chooses the negative behavior, he chooses the negative consequence. Yes, initially he'll be upset with you, but later on when his emotions are calm and he's thinking to himself, he'll be mad at himself. And he would hold himself responsible for not getting ready on time. And if there was no prior agreement on the consequence, you didn't tell him the consequence ahead of time, and at 5 o'clock you're making angry remarks and angry threats and saying, "I can't take you now, you're not ready," that's unfair. This will harm your relationship, la qadarallah. When they know the consequence ahead of time and take responsibility for their choices, that's just how life works, doesn't it? Just like adults. If you don't cook food, you won't have delicious home-cooked food when you're hungry. If you speed, you get fined. You know the consequences and still make your choice. So you accept the outcome. After you've carried out the consequence, avoid shaming them. So don't say things like, yeah, it says you're right. Now you learn. That'll teach you to ignore me. That might be satisfying for you in the moment, but it is completely counterproductive. It won't teach them the lessons you want them to learn. This kind of hurtful talk will shift the focus on you. Rather than the child pondering on his decision, on his actions, he's now thinking about how mean and unjust you are. Instead, when they're sad and crying and upset, you comfort them. You say, I know you're upset. Is there something I can do to help you avoid being late again? Remember, we are the ones who train our children to listen to us. Every time we stick to a word with kindness and firmness, we show our children that our words matter. We raise them to be responsible, to take ownership of their choices, and we model for them what it looks like to be trustworthy, consistent, yet loving.